Afternoon, everybody. Gosh, it seems like a long time since we played. We're excited about the opportunity this weekend to start our conference play, and man, do we play a good team. North Texas is really tough, high-powered on offense, and they have been playing great on defense. The scoring margin, what they're scoring on offense and what they're giving up on defense, best in FBS football. I mean, it's really impressive. They're well coached, they're fast and athletic, and we're going to have to play really, really well if we're going to be able to even challenge them in the game this Saturday. So we've been practicing, obviously, all last week, coming off the game in Kansas. Just a little banged up. It was a really physical game, particularly the guys on offense played 82 snaps. So getting those guys back and getting going with a game plan for North Texas. It was a great game against them last year down there in Denton, and just a real battle. And so hopefully we can fare well enough this week to battle them and make it a game. So our guys are working hard and practicing hard, and hopefully we'll have a good day today.
Rich, kick us off.
Aside from the fundamentals, biggest difference between game 1 and game 2, and that led to the success?
Well, I don't know if there really is another story beyond the fundamentals. We just did a much better job of blocking up front, blocking the perimeter, controlling the ball on offense, and then defensively, it was as good a job of tackling as we've ever done since I've been here. We missed 3 tackles on defense, which is unheard of, and our guys just really played well fundamentally, played physical and rugged, and so it was just enough to get us the win. And like I said, just enough. And so that's the margin for us. We've got to play almost perfect. We've got to play really well fundamentally, and things got to go our way. And they all did the last time out. So hopefully we'll make some improvements and be able to put together a performance on Saturday that's good enough for us to win.
You guys went undefeated through the American last year, won the conference title. How exciting is it to be in conference play?
This is a tough conference. There's good teams throughout the league. And certainly I think North Texas is one of the top teams in the league. I mean, they're 3-0 already to start the year. They've got the quarterback. How impressive is he, Rich? Here's a guy I read about that hadn't started a game since he was in the 9th grade at quarterback, and earned the job as a freshman coming out of the off season. I mean, really impressive. And he's played 3 great football games, and so very impressive. They got a host of receivers and a really good group of backs. Their linemen do an unbelievable job protecting that guy. I mean, he has time. He's on the move. I mean, they just do a really, really good job offensively. And then on defense, their coordinator, who came from Sam Houston, brought some players with him, and I mean, they're all on the same page. They are playing really, really well. I guess less than 2 touchdowns a game, 13 point something a game, I think. I mean, that's really impressive. So they got a good all-around football team, and it's going to be a heck of a challenge for us to start the American with what I think is one of the best teams in the league.
Ken McMillan.
Hey, Jeff. How significant is that Kansas State victory for this Army program?
It was great to get that win. We were excited for our players and excited for everybody involved, but they all count the same. It's one win in the season, and there's a lot of season left to play. So I hope maybe it just gave us some confidence that we can play better than we did in game 1. And that's not to discredit Tarleton. They played a heck of a game, and they got a good football team, very talented team. I mean, they're ranked 3rd in the country in their division. They're pretty good. But to go out to Kansas State, which I think has one of the best football programs in the country, what Bill Snyder built and what Chris Kleiman has continued. They're an outstanding football team and program, and to get a win out there was really a big win for our program. But it doesn't get us any starter points for this coming Saturday. We're going to have to earn everything this Saturday, and just hopefully, like I said, gave us some confidence that we can play better than we did in game one, and hopefully that'll carry over.
Jeff, can you tell us about the significance of having an off week at this stage of the season? What you guys did, how did you benefit from it?
Really, it's just to get healthy. The bye weeks are beneficial for that. No other real significance other than it's nice to have 2 weeks to prepare for an opponent, to get more game plan stuff in. But we got some guys banged up in the game last week. It was a very physical game. But some of those guys that got hurt against Tarleton and didn't play against Kansas State, get some of those guys back. Some of the guys that got hurt at Kansas State, it gives them a whole extra week to get healthy, and we'll get some of those guys back for Saturday. So that's been a big help. And to as I said, to prepare and game plan for North Texas, what they do on offense. Certainly different from what we've seen the first couple of weeks. They go, pretty fast-paced, and then they're just a high-powered scoring machine. So some extra time is benefiting us in this. And then on defense, look at what they did last year against us. Though a different coordinator and some different personnel. Some of those guys are back, and so it was a heck of a football game last year. And like I said, I hope that this extra time will give us a chance to game plan and maybe be as prepared as we can be to go into Saturday and play our best.
Jeff, I know you don't always provide this stuff, but can you give us a little more specifics on an injury update? I know last night on This Week in Army Football, you mentioned about Rendina and Hayden Reed, their status. But what kind of an injury update can you provide us?
Other than what I did last night, there's not a whole lot of change. Rendina's probably going to take a little bit longer to get healthy. Hayden, we're optimistic he's going to play on Saturday. And Dwayne Coleman is practicing again, so he's back to better health. We'll see today and tomorrow as we're Thursday as we're running around and making cuts and really practicing if he's back to 100% or full speed. But he looks good, and the training staff is they're really encouraged with where he's at right now. So those guys are guys that stand out. There's been some others, been some nicks and dings, but Cody Harris-Miller, who was out against Kansas State, he'll be out again this week. But other than that, we're trying to nurse everybody else back to where they were, and it's hard during the season. Guys that play, they have injuries, they get beat up and banged up in the game, and then you kind of nurse them back to health to get them to the next Saturday, and same thing happens all over again. So sometimes a 2-week break, like I said, helps us get a little more healthy.
How concerned are you about the running depth at this point, given those injuries and such?
Anytime you've got the guys at the top of the depth chart, when they're out, they're starters for a reason. They're the guys that we have the most confidence in, just in terms of being able to make a play, maybe the most ability. But other guys got to step up, and that happens on every team at every level throughout the football season. Other teams are dealing with it, and we have too. So I'm confident in the guys that we've got, regardless of whether it's a running back or another position. I've got confidence in those guys that they'll play hard and play tough, and the more they play, the more they develop and improve. And so as they're getting reps and getting opportunities in practice and in the games, they're going to get better.
And one more. As far as the quarterback situation goes, you announced last night on This Week in Army Football that Cale Helms is going to get the start. But Dwayne did take some snap, or was in warm-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas State, obviously, you went with Cale. What is going into your decision-making on Cale? Was it because he won the job based off Kansas State, or you were still concerned about Dwayne's health condition? Where do you stand on the quarterbacks?
It's hard to argue with his performance at Kansas State. The way he ran the ball and led our team, and he's completely healthy. And Dwayne is, he went into the game against Kansas State prepared to play a backup role and go into the game if we needed him to. But the health, the 100% health of our guys, sometimes that makes a difference on where they stand in the depth chart as well. So it's a combination of both.
Were you shocked at Kale being able to go 41 carries?
We didn't go into the game anticipating he was going to carry it 41 times, but we didn't know we'd have it 82 times either. We were able to control the football and kind of chew up some clock with really some short and medium gains. We didn't have a lot of big plays. In fact, I think the halfback pass was really the only big explosive play that we had. So we leaned on him. We typically do that with our quarterbacks. I mean, Bryson Daly had a lot of carries a year ago and helped us win a lot of games. So we rely on the quarterback to run the football. And he's a tough, rugged runner, and give him credit. It's not really what he did in high school, but he's embraced who we are and what his role is and what our quarterbacks have to do, and really did a great job with it 2 Saturdays ago down in Manhattan.
Austin, get us started on Zoom.
We'll go to Ken Kreitzer first of CamVets Media. Ken, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Coach. Good to see you. You're talking with Ken about Cale Helms and Dwayne Coleman. Could you see a scenario where you put both in the same game?
I suppose. There's not necessarily a plan for us to trade quarterbacks in and out like we do slot backs and wide receivers, but I mean, certainly we could play both of those guys, and I think we'll need both of those guys as we go through the season.
And you mentioned the North Texas coach, Eric Morris, comes from an offensive background, places like Texas Tech and Washington State, and you played him. What are some of his strengths? What does he bring?
Well, look at the points they're scoring. I mean, that's been their MO. Last year they averaged over 40 points a game. This year, through 3 games, they're averaging over 40 points a game. They're high-powered. They spread the field. They get a lot of people involved. And he's just really good at what he does. He's really good at finding ways to move the football and score points. They've been in the red zone 21 times this year, and they've scored 20. 16 have been touchdowns. That's crazy stats. Crazy. He does a great job, and it's really difficult. I found this to be true. I tried to do it when I first was the coach at Georgia Southern, to be the head coach and call the plays on offense. Paul Johnson did that for 13 years when I was an assistant for him, and he handled it fabulously. I mean, he was really good at what he did and really good play caller, and he was able to handle both. But there's a reason that not a lot of coaches do it. It's hard to manage the football game and coach the entire team and call the plays, and he handles it and does a really good job with it. He's a great play caller and really good in terms of scheme and obviously developing players. I mean, here's a new freshman that didn't play a year ago, and now he's the starter, and they're one of the top teams in the nation in scoring. So Eric's an outstanding coach. He's a really good guy, too.
You were mentioning the quarterback of North Texas. Is that Drew Messmaker you're describing? He's 66 and 94, 0 interceptions, 9 touchdowns, averaging 254 yards a game. That's quite a three-game record.
I'll say so, and I hope he doesn't have those stats against us. If he does, it's going to be a long day for the Black Knights.
Thanks, Coach. See you later.
Thank you.
We'll go to Seth Mendelson next of Black Knight Nation. Seth, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Coach. Let's talk about, if we could, the American. This year, the team seemed to be doing so much better in the early going, scoring a lot of points. Not just North Texas. You're seeing this. You're seeing Tulane. You're seeing Navy, other schools. Why do you think that is, and what for the whole season? How does Army compete with teams putting up 40, 50, 60 points, not 60, but 40, 50 points a game?
Well, we have to play our game. It's the team that scores the most points wins. All you got to do is score more than your opponent. Doesn't mean you got to score 40 or 50 to win the game. It might take 40 or 50 to win the game, but it might not. And so we have to play our game. And there's a lot of really good teams, as you mentioned. I mean, this league, just look at the talent level in this league, the history, the winning teams. I mean, you mentioned several of them already, and this is a difficult, challenging conference, and we're gonna play North Texas, who's 3-0 to start the conference play, and they got the best scoring margin in the country, points for and points against. I mean, they're an outstanding football team, and as we go through the schedule, and you look and see where we got to travel to, and who's coming in here, and just the ability of those teams, how well coached they are, how athletic they are, the history of those programs. It's not easy. It's not an easy schedule. It's not an easy league.
My second and final question is, talk about Cal. I got the impression he's a very confident young man. I assume you feel the same way. What do you think he gets that confidence? Do you agree? And what do you think that he gets the confidence from, and how much does that help him going forward?
I hope all of our guys are confident because of the way that they've been trained, their knowledge of the game, their understanding their position, the effort that they put into fundamentals, that all they have to do is go out there and do the things that they've been coached to do and trained to do. And with that, they can perform at a competitive level. And this is a guy that was a very successful high school quarterback. He's got a lot of ability, and he's embraced our system and his role in that system. And so he was prepared. He's ready. He's been coached. He's been trained. He practices the fundamentals and practices the schemes and studies a lot of film. So he should be confident. And it's hard to put a quarterback out there that's not confident. We're probably not going to put one out there that's not confident. But I hope that's the case at every position.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you. We'll need it.
We'll go to Sal Interdonato of Black Knight Nation. Sal, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, hope all is well.
Thanks, you too.
I want to ask you about how valuable the game experience was for Carson Smith and Briggs Bartosh at Kansas State, considering the health of your top two fullbacks.
Oh, those guys got some valuable reps, and I was pleased with the way they took care of the ball. There's guys that are very limited in their reps. Briggs hadn't played in a college football game, and they did a really good job of taking care of the football. And as they play more, as they practice and are getting reps with the first and second huddles, then they should gain more confidence. They should become better at reading their blocks and staying on track when they're supposed to and where they're supposed to, and just all the things that come with their job. The blocking part of it is a huge responsibility in our offense as much as we run the quarterback. So that's a big piece to their I guess ability to be able to impact the team and for us to move the football. There's not a guy on our offense, with the exception of the quarterback, that has to block. I mean, they all have to block, and that's the receivers. Most teams, those guys are lining up out wide and catching passes and running routes, and our guys are in there lined up 3 yards from the tackle, and they're blasting defensive ends and blocking linebackers, and our backs have to do the same. They don't just carry the ball. They got to block a lot. And so the more reps those guys get doing that in practice, and the more opportunities they do that against other people that are putting up a fight and trying to stop them, the better they'll get. But you know, they're a lot less experienced than Reed and Rendina, and so those reps were valuable, especially against a very physical and formidable opponent like Kansas State.
What does a player like Jacob Tuioti mean to your defense? Having him mean to your defense and mean to your team? How he was able to just go in there in a starting role and do his job.
Jacob's played a lot of football for us, and he did a great job against Kansas State. Obviously, having Cody Harris-Miller and Jacob rolling in there and sharing some of the reps, that's most ideal. We typically play a lot of defensive linemen and roll those guys in and out and try to keep them fresh. But with Cody Harris-Miller being out, Jacob had to take on a lot of those snaps, and I thought he did a great job. He went in there and battled. He's tough. He's really good with leverage and playing with good pad level and playing low, and it's hard. That's a hard position to play because so often you're getting double team blocked. In our scheme, you're getting double teamed by the center and the guard, and they'll toss you around in there. And he did a really good job and put up a great fight. They got the best of him sometimes, but he did a really good job of getting the best of them at times. So I'm happy for him. That's a senior and has worked really hard, has battled through injury, and I know how much this team means to him. So he did a good job. I hope we'll do it again this coming Saturday.
One more, can you talk about the offensive line's improvement from game 1 to game 2 and what made them have a better effort against Kansas State?
I thought everybody did a better job blocking up front and on the perimeter in game 2. Give Tarleton credit. They played really good. I think they got good players, and they were tough. Our guys just, I think, probably when we lose a game, we're humbled, and we really focus and look at the things that we can improve on and probably self-evaluate more critically than we would if we win. And so I think they criticize themselves pretty harshly, and probably had some coaches that were pretty critical of their performance and their fundamentals, and they worked really hard that week to improve those. And so I think that was the difference. We just played better fundamentally and probably played a little more physical and harder.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Anything else for Coach?
Have a good day, everybody.